We were on today. Somebody asked me a question, basically, or basically thoughts. They wanted to know if Sui, or whatever you want to call it, that coin, has the potential to overtake Solana, or is it going to be more like another Solana event where Solana was like a few dollars way back in the days and then it shot up to 200 and something? Is it going to be? And this was on Discord. So I kind of gave him an answer, and I said, look, anything would happen, right? You know, it's a fresh coin. It's brand new. It's baby in the industry, right? You know, comparatively, if you look at BTC and whatnot, even BTC is still a baby, right? It's a teenager. So maturity plays a big part. But the other thing I mentioned was like blockchains. A lot of these blockchains that will come out, and there will be hundreds, if not thousands of them. A lot of them are going to be these EVM copycats. Now, EVM copycats, I'm not too keen on. The reason is because until they kind of separate themselves from this compatibility nonsense, right? They can't really be unique. I mean, you can't be compatible and call yourself unique. You know, unique blockchains have a whole different league. You know, they're on a different plane. I mean, think about it, like Bitcoin. It's its own thing. It doesn't really share its technology with anything else. You know, is there some form of cross compatibility? There is. If you do atomic swaps, you can, right? But that means somebody else is dealing with it, which is fine. There's no issue with that. But it's a unique blockchain. You can't be interoperable with that blockchain, if you get my drift, right? So that's what's happening there. Ethereum. Anything that's built with the Ethereum or virtual machine, right, EVM, is now Ethereum or EVM compatible, right? Because they literally is a copy paste. So of course they're going to be compatible. But does that make them any unique, a unique blockchain? I don't think so. That's my opinion, right? So Sui is a company who has come out with kind of a fresh blockchain. Yes, there are some compatibility, but there are some unique differences as well, which makes them fairly unique, right? You know, like one of my most favorite cryptocurrencies, Monero. It's unique. It's a copy of Bitcoin, but it's unique because it's not interoperable, if that makes sense, right? So that's the thing you've got to look at. And also, like when I'm looking at a monetary value or like, you know, financial gains or something like this, right? You know, when I'm trying to speculate, right? Of course, by the way, guys, this is not a financial advice, none of that business here. I don't do any of that. I'm just making this for educational entertainment purposes. So, you know, there are plenty of blockchains out there which have copied the technology. Like, for example, Bitcoin's technology has been copied by Litecoin, you know, Monero. I think even Dash has some sort of Bitcoin fundamentals with it. But the point is they copied it. They didn't just, you know, paste it and make it EVM compatible. They didn't make that compatibility wasn't there. It's a unique blockchain because it has a whole different method, right? You know, the number of coins, how it works, what it does. It's different, even though it's based on the exact same technology. I mean, why reinvent the wheel when the wheel is working, right? So if Bitcoin works and Bitcoin is robust, the technology is sane, why go and attempt something else? You know what I mean? Like, for example, when, you know, the founders of Ethereum got together and they built Ethereum. Originally, it had the same fundamentals, right? But of course, it was more technology focused than decentralization focused, right? So by having that from get-go, they had what's known as what do you call this? Programmability, right? So it's always been programmable money, right? So programmable money is completely different. This is why Ethereum can be reprogrammed to be a staking coin or whatever, right? And that's what it's become right now. So not too fussed about that. Again, it's a unique thing for Ethereum, which has now opened the floodgates for thousands of blockchains, right? Thousands, because of that very reason, programmable money. And, you know, innovation also plays as well a little bit, because as we progressed, more and more cryptocurrencies will come out, which are going to be more innovative, more distinct in one form or another. So going back to the monetary value, the financial gains part, right? So I'm looking at blockchains to invest into, right? And I've always been an advocate where I've said, look, you can't really lose money on a blockchain. Blockchains will survive regardless what happens to the tokens built on the blockchain, right? So tokens can be rug pulled, all sorts of stuff could happen. But when it comes to the actual blockchain itself, it's a different story. I don't think blockchains are going to fade, right? They will always be there. They might not pump, right? You might not make money on it. You could certainly lose money because of the valuation drop. But blockchains are going to always stick around as long as there are people out there who are utilizing the technology or using it for one purpose or another. So, but the way I look at it is like, okay, there are thousands and thousands of blockchains now. We are close to almost about 5,000 blockchains right now. Many of them are small projects. Many of them are independently launched. But the question is, you know, you putting your money there, your faith, your belief, your trust, that's what it is, right? So we you know, put money into these projects, most occasions in the hope that, you know, you're going to have a nice little turnaround, you're going to make a little bit of profit, whether it's 10%, 20%, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're going to make a little bit of money over a long period of time or a short period of time. Or, you know, in some occasions, so most occasions it's about the money, but some occasions we might not be speculating. We might just genuinely want to support the project. So it's like, right, I want to genuinely support this project. I want this project to be built out. And this kind of plays into like ICOs and whatnot, right? So when you have projects who are doing ICOs, initial coin offerings, and they're saying, look, guys, we are trying to raise capital to build this project, well, that's more like you are supporting that project, right? Of course, there may be a secondary thing about making some money as well, but primarily it will be because you want to support them, because that coin doesn't exist. You've gone into it, you know, and you've invested funds or you've given money to the project so the project can actually build it out, right? So that's a different way of doing it. That's when you have faith in the project or you trust it a little bit or whatever, right? That's a kind of story. So they kind of play hand in hand. Like, let's just think about it this way. They kind of play hand in hand, but of course it's a mindset. You know, do I want to help build this project? Yes, you're an investor. Or do I want to make some money? You're a speculator, one or the other, right? And, you know, nobody can deny this. This always happens. You know, I don't want to go into the regulatory parts of things because that's just nonsense anyway, right? You know, people should be free to invest in whatever they want, provided they have, you know, enough control over their emotions and whatnot. Of course, people should be investing responsibly, but that doesn't mean responsibility of governing that should come to the governments, where they now dictate who you can invest with and who you can't. I think that's the wrong way of doing things. They may put, you know, they could easily say, we'll put limits on how much somebody, you know, who's worth something could invest or who's not worth something could invest in. They could put limits on it, but they shouldn't dictate where you can and where you can't put your money. That's the wrong story, right? Okay. You know, it's like more like moral thing, but ultimately I don't want some governing body to come and govern my moral you know, decisions, right? Because it's, you know, if a company decides to rug you, it doesn't matter how legit they are, they will still rug you, right? So that's the situation that everybody's got to understand, that, you know, you're going to be rugged one way or another. So you know, that's the situation. So coming back to Sui and Solana, Sui can potentially be a top coin. Sui can probably pump, you know, to, I don't know, $10, $20, maybe even $200. But we don't know. But what we do know as a fact, it's a fresh coin. It's a unique blockchain. They do have investors from the institutional backgrounds. One of the famous ones would be Coinbase. They are invested in it, right? And there's a few other companies I can't name off the top of my head, but they are invested in it. So Sui did get a lot of funding already. And of course, some of those projects or some of those institutions may have already taken their profits out or whatnot, right? That could have already happened. They might be just trying to claim it back again. But the way I look at it is, you know, you might get this massive pump coming in to the market at some stage or another. And the reason I say this is this is really, really important, right? So back in the early days of Bitcoin, I want to go back, rewind a little bit, right? And this is going to be a little bit of a history lesson, just kind of picking up on a few bits and bobs, right? I mean, everyone's probably read the Bitcoin white paper. I want to ignore that. I don't want to talk about that right now. Everyone's probably heard of Satoshi Nakamoto. Doesn't matter. He's not relevant right now. In this conversation, he is not relevant, right? if we did say something about him, yes, he's a genius person or a group of people, Satoshi Nakamoto, who built Bitcoin, who published the white paper, right? Great, no problem, brilliant. But that's all they did. That didn't give any value. People mined it, people accumulated it, people bought it, people advertised it, people were giving it away. That didn't change it. There was no value. There was no value being generated, if that makes sense, right? Then comes along a handful of people around the globe who say, do you know what, we want to start trading this. And that's where the real value comes in, because now they're trading it. They're saying, right, we're going to put a value on this, right? How much money are you going to give me? So they're talking about fiat. They're like, how much fiat are you going to give me? And I'll give you the BTC. So that's when the value started to pop up. And of course, those values then started to be put on a chart. And then you can now see the price where someone's willing to pay, so bid and ask, basically. How much is someone willing to bid on a Bitcoin, and how much is someone willing to ask for a Bitcoin, XYZ. And now you have this whole trading mechanism being started. And of course, the traditional trading mechanisms are now implemented into the cryptosphere. This is back early in the 2011, 2012. I'm not going to go earlier than that. There used to be more types, but those were not documented. Those were not done in the traditional manner. So I don't want to go too far, right? But let's just stick to like 2011, 2012. People see an opportunity. People see an arbitrage opportunity. People see the fact that they can now sell these Bitcoin for a fee, right? So if someone's buying a Bitcoin for $1, they can charge like 5%, 10% fee on it. And that's what people were doing. So the middlemen were making a lot of money, right? Everyone's happy. Now there's a value. People are making money. So here we had this useless monopoly money from 2009. Which, people were just having a laugh about, because that's what it was, just, magic internet money, or so-called magic internet money. But now we have value. So now we have value means we can actually now buy stuff with it. We can trade it. We can actually, fill up our banks with it. That's what happened, right? But the big pumps didn't come in until the big boys, the big institutional, and I'm going to say institutional because at that time, maybe they were not an institute, but kind of an institutional background now. But the big boys came to play, right? When the big boys came to play, they were not buying $10, $20, $100 worth of Bitcoin. They were buying hundreds of thousands of dollars Bitcoin. And just to, off the top of my head, one that I remember, it was the Winklevoss brothers. Winklevoss brothers got involved with one of the early preachers of Bitcoin, right? One of the early exchange pioneers of Bitcoin, Charlie Shroom. They got involved with him, and they actually bought $100,000 Bitcoin twice. So $100,000, $200,000 worth of Bitcoin. Players like that, with money like that, pumped the market. So the 2012, right, or 2013, the bull run that we saw, the first ever bull run that we saw, that bull run was probably created by that few $100,000 coming into the market. Does that make sense, right? So the same way for Sui to take over, someone somewhere has to come in, and I'm sure it's going to be one of the big players. You have to come in and buy on spot market, a few $100,000, maybe a few $1 million worth, right? It could be an institution putting tens of millions of dollars, right? So that's where the big pump comes in. Also, the other thing to note is for Solana to be taken down by Sui. There's two differences, by the way. Can Sui take over Solana, and is Sui going to do what Solana did? There's two differences here. The potential for Sui to do what Solana did and go to like $200 something, absolutely possible. There's nothing stopping a bull run from happening. There's nothing stopping the market from pumping. There's nothing stopping a coin from doing 10, 20,000x. Nothing stopping it. So that is absolutely in the realms of possibility, even probability, right? We just say that, right? Now, At that same time, if the scenario is that we got this bull run happening, then Solana could also pop back to the old levels. There's nothing stopping that. Would it take over Sui? Would Sui take over Solana? Probably not, right? So you see, there's a probability it could do a 10, 20,000% gain. But at the same time, would it beat Solana? Maybe not, because Solana has a massive following. Solana has a lot of holders, right? A lot of believers in Solana. Also, from way back in the days when Solana initiated or originally started, massive institutional players invested into. I talked about this, like how Solana was, playing with the ESG nonsense, how they were promoting themselves as a payment system, how they were promoting how they can do, fast transactions and whatnot, right? They were competing with Visa and whatnot. Also, when you look at, there was this, what's it called? Something forum, I forgot what it was called, but that's related to do with all the, CBDC type or institutional banking, basically. They were promoting themselves there. So they were already on board. So that's where a lot of these pumps were coming up from. Now, Sui hasn't really done much since its launch, but of course, Sui can shock everybody with some sort of news. The last news I heard was Sui is doing something regarding Coinbase's base coin. So there's a difference, base coin, where they want to do some interoperability work there. Great. Does that generate enough of a buzz? It probably didn't, right? But during a bull run, if they come up with some sort of a news that is exciting, could be an NFT marketplace, it could be anything, it could be something completely unrelated to crypto. It doesn't matter. But the point is that's what's going to pump, right? Because that's what's going to bring the money. And the money I'm talking about, I'm not talking about you, me, and everybody else. I'm talking about institutions. What are you going to interest institutions? That's where the money comes in, because Solana was out there promoting and making promises, right, to the institutions, not to the average user, right? So think about that. That's where the money came in. You want hundreds of millions of dollars, well, you need hundreds of billions of dollars worth of capital lying around doing nothing, and you got to bring that in. Now, how you bring that in is a different story. You can make promises, and bring them in. Obviously, when in Solana's case, Solana had FTX backing it up, right? I don't even talk about it. They had Sam Bankman-Fried, they had all the friends in the SEC and whatnot, right? So we know what was going on, right? Here's a fun fact about SEC, right? So everybody knows about this famous guy called something Ponzi, right? The Ponzi scheme, right? Did you know that one of his companies that he opened up before he started his Ponzi thing was actually called Securities Exchange Company? Did you know that? SEC, literally SEC. So Ponzi's original company was called the SEC before SEC was formed, before the Securities Exchange Commission was formed. How hilarious is that? So the SEC inherited Ponzi's name. Wow. Anyway, that's just a little fun fact there. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So all of this money was coming in from there. So, and the money's still there, right? So that's what pumps markets. And now for Sui to be the dominant one, to take over Solana completely, for Solana to go to, the trash, right, completely, it would require Solana holders to change team, right? Solana holders must be willing to give up a portion, if not all, right, a portion of their Solana holdings in order to invest into Sui. So that's how it is. Like, put it this way, crypto is one of those. It's a niche, right? It's a niche. It's a very small community, right? When we're talking about the global population, it is very, very small. It's a niche, right? And usually what you'll find is most of the people who are playing with crypto or playing with multiple cryptos are the exact same people. They're not different people. They are absolutely exactly the same people. Someone might have 100 different coins under his portfolio. Someone might have 1,000 coins under his portfolio, right? And I've been there, I know, believe me. Currently I don't, but I've had, close to 1,000 different coins. So one person can be part of 1,000 different coins. So that's the thing. You don't have new people coming in. Maybe the new people are like 1% of the old people, right? But that doesn't mean it's now all of a sudden a huge number of people coming in. No. Recently we saw the number of, I saw the number of Bitcoin wallets that hold 0.001 or 0.01 BTC increased by like what, 40 or 50. So you know, it's a new record, yes, but the number was very small, right? So when you do that kind of math, it's like 0.001%, right? So that's what I'm trying to say to you here. Look, we're a very niche market. We are still early. There's very few people involved in it. Fresh wallets, we can see what the wallets are. We can see what the wallets are holding. And even then, very few people are holding some of these coins. And also, there's no way to identify which wallet belongs to who. I mean, there is some form in some way, but the point is not all of them. You can't do 100% of wallets and say who owns what. You know, maybe if they leave some sort of a breadcrumb, then yeah. But majority of these coins, or these, you know, any of these low cap gems or whatever you want to call them, remember this, it's usually the same people holding them, the absolute same people holding the funds, basically. So just based on that, you need, like, the old money that's in there, that money has to kind of recycle. There's not going to be any new money coming in, or even if the new money came in, it will be a very, very small amount. So I hope that kind of makes sense, right? So for me, I've said this, I think last week I said this on Discord. I said to the group as well, I said, guys, look, this is not financial advice. But the way I look at things is the bull market's about to start. And I'm not talking about BlackRock or any of that nonsense, right? None of that business. None of that bothers me. You know, when the news came out, doesn't bother me. Why? Why should we hype and ruin it for ourselves? Because what you got to understand is the big boys, the big players out there, they've probably already accumulated their portions. They've already got their bags ready. So they bought the bottom, they got their bags ready, then they launched the news, you hike the market, now they're making an arbitrage, opportunity. They got an arbitrage opportunity here. So they're going to make a little bit of change out of you. So they're making money. Some of them probably even made 40, 50% already. So they've already recouped their money. They've already got their profit, right? And that's why you see these big pumps and dumps. So you need to understand where this is coming from. And of course, this is probably a conspiracy, but the point is I'm just trying to stay as logical as possible. And I'm saying, look, you're going to buy something that is purposely being hyped. Then what you need to understand is there's a reason behind that. There's a method in the madness, right? You don't go and advertise and tell the world. I mean, listen, if BlackRock wanted to file a paper quietly, they could have done it quietly. If BlackRock wants to do it and announce it to the world, then they can also do that. And that's what's happened right now. They've announced it to the world, but doesn't mean they're going to do it without any reason behind it. They want to make money. They're in it for the money. They need to make money. They want to capture the entire global institutional funding that would ever go into BTC. They want to capture that and create a way for you to go. They want to be the first comer, right? If that makes sense, right? So that's what they want to do. They know they've missed the boat, right? But they can't do certain things regularly or officially. They can't do it. So they haven't done it. But the point is I'm sure they bought their bags up. That's, you know, you can say what you like. I don't really give a damn. But point is I think they've already got their bags. They've already pumped it. After it's been pumped, they've already probably dumped it already as well. But as us small fish, small shrimps in this vast ocean, what I would say is now is an opportunity for everybody to pick up all of those last few coins that you wanted, right? And I'm not separating them. I'm not being a BTC maximalist. Of course, if I want to, then if somebody asked me, what is that one coin that you would buy, regardless what the price is today, there is only one coin that I will buy, BTC, full stop, right? If you ask me what's the two coins that you would buy, then I'll say BTC and Ethereum. And as you can see, my list will keep on going longer, right? So then people will turn around and say, what's the first top 10 coins you want to buy? Well, I want to buy the top 10 blue chip coins, right? So I'm going to look at historical coins which have been which have performed very well, which have some of the largest holders out there, which have the largest volume in trading. I'll pick those, right? So that's how it's going to be. And then if you're talking about, okay, what's the 10 fresh coins that you're going to pick? Well, I'm going to pick fresh coins that have launched, right? And that would include companies like Sui, right? Because they're fresh regardless where the price is. Now's the opportunity to buy. So I will buy this because it's fresh, if that makes sense, right? For example, Polkadot, even though it's an old coin, it's still fresh because it's not done. But to be honest, I have no idea what the fuck they're doing, excuse my language, but I have absolutely no idea what the fuck the founders of Polkadot or the management of Polkadot are doing right now. I mean, guys, for God's sake, stop your parachains and let's deal with it. Let's move on with the project, right? What's this? I mean, seriously, how long do we need more parachains? I know it's up to 2025, but the point is let's finish off the parachains. Let's actually launch the blockchain. Let's go ballistic, full stop, right? Because that's where the value is. Parachains, what's it doing? Right now, people are locking their tokens to get more. Yeah, I'm getting some, right? But the point is you lock your tokens for a project. You're kind of funding the project. And then you get some freebie tokens, which is brilliant, by the way. I think that technique is brilliant. I would love to adopt that for myself. I think I will. But the point is you're giving a token, you're locking a token, you're building trust, and then end of that, you're being rewarded from these projects, which is brilliant. I think it's a brilliant idea. But how long do we really need it? Because it's not helping the project itself. The Polkadot, the original project, right? It's not helping it. While other companies and other projects are coming out with new, more innovative ways or new blockchains and then launching it directly and then having some sort of a use case. Where's our use case? So that's an argument I would have. Obviously, if Gavin Wood is watching this, then that's what I would say to him, right? Like, just stop it and just move on with it, man, right? We don't need any more. How many more projects do you want, right? And some of these projects are, the reason I'm annoyed, right? Some of these projects are the same projects. So they have the parachain slots, they fail or they pass, then they come back again and they're constantly doing this. I was like, dude, how much longer can you do this? Can you just stop it, right? So that's how I'm seeing this anyway. So that's that part, right? I don't want to, go on about this one too long, but that's that. But yeah, I mean, look, end of the day, as I said, now is an opportunity to pick up as many coins as you want, or the ones that you've missed. Pick your favorite coins. Don't expect an influencer or anybody, even myself, anybody, right? Do not expect anybody to tell you what to buy. That's the bad thing to do, because they'll only tell you about their favorite coins. I will only, if you ask me, I will happily tell you what my favorite coins are. But my favorite coins necessarily doesn't mean should be your favorite coins, right? So for that reason, wherever you want to buy, right? Pick your coins, stick your coin, choose your coins, right? But make sure you choose them. You make that decision, not based on somebody else. Don't get somebody else to influence you. Whether it's a high cap or a low cap, it doesn't matter. Whether it's like, a $1 million project or a $500,000 project, or whether it's a, $500 million or $5 billion project, it doesn't matter. You choose your coin, stick to your coin. And at the same time, on that same message, I did say to people, I said, guys, if you are picking the coins up, then just make sure, you're not picking it up with money you need. Obviously, only use money that you don't actually need today, or you don't need to pay your bills. Only surplus cash that you would have, use that. And also be prepared to hold it for at least, maximum, or at least I would say at least 18 months, right? Now, of course, if the market changes and decides to go ballistic in 18 days, deal with it. Take your money, take your profit, get the hell out, right? So that's the rules, right? You've got to be able to always take your initial investment out, take your profits out. And believe me, I know, because I've made a lot of mistakes where I've lost a lot of money, right? I've lost a lot of money. I bought coins, pumped, right? I bought coins, pumped. And this is one of the reasons why I don't hold too many coins anymore. So I've bought coins fresh, they pumped, right? Overnight pumps, made a bit of money, pump. I got distracted, whatever reason, and then couldn't take the money out, and then the whole project just dumped, right? So now I'm a freaking bag holder. So you can imagine, it happens, right? And I noticed this because I was using multiple exchanges, because sometimes one coin that's available in a particular exchange wasn't available in another one. So by doing this, I've lost a lot of money. So I thought, you know what, I can't be doing this anymore. And of course, one of my main strategies during last season was that, try and sell BTC at the highest possible, which I did, and then start selling off the altcoins, because they're also going to be dumping at some stage. So I did that, and I wanted to move into USDC. So I sat at USDC for a long time, or USDT, whatever you want to call it, like USD, for a very long time. And then I've moved back into crypto, and that's when I started making a little bit of a mistake. I thought, like, I can't do this anymore. So I've only got a handful of selected, points that I'm confident with, but they're not for quick clips or anything like this. These coins are literally there for next season, next cycle. Next cycle could be, as I said, like, next 18 days, or it could be in the next 18 months, right? The volatility we mentioned is going to be very high, so we don't really know when the market's going to break through. Talking about the market, currently we're sitting with BTC, we're sitting at 30k. 30k is okay, as long as we can hold 30k for this entire week until Sunday, we're okay. But if we fall through, if we break that 29k and then just fall through, then there's no coming back, right? That means we have to spend a month or two around the 25k, right? So that's the hard reality. However, if we hold this until Sunday, and possibly even next week, if we can break back above and the current threshold that we have, and go to the 31k again and test that level again, then we might have a chance to test out for the 37k. Now, I know I'm doing a big jump here, but the 37k is very important. It's actually only about 15%, right? I'm talking about compounding effect, which means, like, a 10% today necessarily is a 10% tomorrow, right? So it's gonna, we can do a 15%. I think we can do 50% in 2 days or 3 days if we choose to, but I'm giving it 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That should be really fun to see when that does come, because that's when market will change. A lot of people will change. At that time, I think people aren't going to be thinking about dumping or anything like this. Most people are probably going to be thinking about, okay, let's pump it, right? So they're going to be thinking about buying now, because everyone's going to miss the boat, and oh, we're too late, right? Let's jump in, and that's when you'll see the money coming into the field, right? Because it's always the case where a lot of these a lot of people, right? A lot of people tend to buy right at the end, right? And when they do that, they unintentionally create a parabola. People who have invested already, like, at the bottom or whatever, close to the bottom, right? So if you've already bought, you can identify that parabola. You can see that fear of missing out, that parabola starting, and you see a big spikes, and you're like, oh shit, okay. And that's just, this is the time when I'm afraid, right? I'm afraid when there's too much money coming in without a reason, because that's when people have the fear of missing out. That's when the parabola happens. That's the right time to start making a decision to exit. Right? So, and of course, I'm not perfect. Listen, I am not perfect at all. I've missed the boat many times. I've missed the top threshold, because you see the volatility kick in, right? It's like, okay, we're going to hold it. And then it just flips and happens. So last season, we exited around $58,000. We could have done $69,000. Funnily, we did have the thresholds. We knew that $69,000 was a level, but we wasn't sure. That 10k difference that we had, we wasn't sure whether the market was going to bounce back up again or go down. So when that uncertainty came in, it was a decision. It was a call that we had to make and say, right, guys, we've got to exit, right? So $58,000, we need to exit. So we did that. And I think around that time is exactly when Shiba Inu launched as well. So a lot of people made a lot of money on Shiba Inu, and then there was a massive hype because the money started shifting. So the money went into one, that hit the top, money filtered out, went into altcoins, done one final push on the altcoins, especially the meme coins, and then that was cashed out. So, win-win for everybody. So that's what happened basically. Well, not everybody. Some people lost money because of the people who FOMO'd in later. So, I've said to a lot of people since last season, I said, look, guys, I'm talking a couple of years now. I said, look, guys, if there is a coin, a meme coin or whatever, right? Any altcoins, anything you like, just buy some, of course, money you can afford to lose, whether it's $100, $1,000, whatever, right? So just buy some and leave it there, right? You never know what's going to happen. But one thing you can be certain of, right? And that's what you have to be certain of. And this is how you kind of do your risk assessment, right? The one thing you have to be 100% certain of is that 99%, right, of all the coins you're holding may never recover any money for you. 99%. You have to have that kind of a thought process. It's like, okay, 99% of all my portfolio. So if you have 100 coins, 99 of those will not succeed at all. You have to have that. This is one of the reasons why when we do diversified portfolios, we always have a slightly different portions of certain coins. So for example, if I had a portfolio for like 100 coins, I would have BTC as my largest holding because I know it's a robust coin, battle tested, and it has more potential for masses to be interested in. It's the one that everybody knows. When you talk about crypto, half the people don't know about the million different cryptocurrencies out there or the multiple coin names that we have. What they do know is Bitcoin. So think about it that way, right? Same way, if someone said to me, like, again, from my 100 coins that if I had, so this 100% I would have about, 25 to 50% in BTC, easy, right? I would have that. If I did 25% in that, then that's fine as well. It's not a problem. But I want my largest portion, like at least one third of my entire portfolio to be BTC. Then what I want to do is have the second largest portion in Ethereum. Again, why? Battle tested, robust, one of the old ones, big money involved. It's half of the market cap of BTC. So I need to have at least half amount. So say, for example, I did 1/3 in BTC, then I need to have 1/6 in Ethereum, if that makes sense. Minimum, at least 1/6, right? So you got to have a little bit of maths and a little bit of management in there, right? And then the rest of them, so when I'm now talking about the rest of them, I'm talking about, say, 65% to maybe 50%, right? Or whatever, 55% to 50%, whatever. We're saying half of the portfolio. So the rest of my half of my portfolio are high risk portfolio. But that means that I've invested very little money into those. And I expect 99% of those to completely fail. So you see where I'm coming from? So out of those 99, that 50% of my portfolio, if 99% does fail and one of them succeed, it's enough because I have my other two to back it up. So that's the way you kind of should play your portfolio. I mean, of course, I'm not giving you financial advice. It's up to you how you do this. And yeah, but yeah, I've got a call coming through. So I'm going to shoot now. I've got a little call coming through. It's an important one. I'm going to call them back anyway. So if I touch this right now, it's the video is going to cancel. So I'm going to catch this. But guys, if you watched it to the end, thank you very much. Do you know what I would really appreciate though? Right? If you watched it to the end, right? I really, really do appreciate this. But I am going to appreciate one thing as well. Guys, if you are watching this video, right? Leave your thoughts and comments below if you can. That would be really good, right? And also hit the like button because it does help the algorithm. One of the main reasons I don't do that many videos is because obviously I took a break. Look, I had all sorts of crazy stuff going on. I took a break. But it's kind of not motivated. I'm not motivated, to come on because if I'm not seeing the likes and everything, if the video is not getting out there where we used to have hundreds of views before, now we're only getting a few views, it's not really motivated. I don't mind. Of course, I don't mind. I want to do it, but I do also want to, I've thought about it a lot actually. I want to do YouTube a lot more, but I want to do it as long as I'm encouraged to do so. If I'm not, then what am I doing it for? Because most of the questions and answers, and those of you who follow me all the time on Discord, so we have a really lovely group who watch all the videos. So all the views you see in the beginning are from that Discord group, right? And I appreciate that. So these guys, we always share information on Discord. That means we don't even need YouTube, right? We don't even need YouTube. But I hope that you can share with one another. I hope that you can hit that like button, probably put a comment in there and help the algorithm because YouTube doesn't like me. There are things that I've published. There are things I've said that YouTube doesn't like. And, recently they demonetized me for a video that I put online, which is clearly on the banner. It says ad free. So they didn't like that. They were like, ooh, ad free, right? We're going to ban you. So they demonetized me, which is fine. Absolutely fine. Because I still, I think $3 or $4 a month. That's all I used to get. And even that was, I think, from memberships that I forgot to take off. So I'm quite glad they switched it off, because I don't need memberships. It's okay, guys. You know, there was a lot of plans to do a lot of things, but everything doesn't work out as you plan. And yeah, so things are going to be interesting. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the show.